that good?
Okay, awesome. Yep. Share. Okay, awesome. All right. If you have never seen it before, it's just nothing too fancy or anything. Really, the only thing you do is create new or open a previous file. So we're going to create a new file. You can name it in the beginning or you can name it when you save it. Doesn't matter. You have the width in inches, or if you have to select it into feet or points or whatever you're doing, you can do that here. And this is where you can add a bleed. And this is a little guide that goes around the document to where if you have to print, it will print past the document size so that nothing gets cut off. So that's good for that, but we don't need that right now. The color mode is pretty important to, a little important to know. RGB is if it's going to be anything web-based, and CMYK is for printing. So that's the only difference between that. And then for print, you want the highest pixels per inch, but for anything web-based, you want it pretty low. I don't actually remember why, but it's something about it being on the computer. But anyways, 8.5 by 11 is standard printer size, so we will go with that. This is going to be about text, which is kind of important in design because a lot of logos use text, or if you are setting up just a page, or it's very important to know the different things that you can do with text in Adobe Illustrator because it's very advanced. So the text tool is the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4th down on the right on the left on the tool section. There are a few different options. If you right click on the text, you can see all the different options. There's the regular type tool. There's the area type tool, which will type, I will show you, it types inside of an object. And then there's type on a path tool. If you have like a weird line, you can put type on top of that line, or circles, which I will show you that later. Vertical type tool, you can use the type tool where you enter and then type it, or it will, if you need to do that, you can just type it out that way. Vertical area type, don't use that much. And then vertical type in the path tool. Basically, if you have a path up and down, you can type it as well. And I've never used this one, so I'm not going to go over that. But the type tool, just the regular type tool, which you will use a lot. The hotkey for the type tool is T, but I will just go and select it whenever need be. So there's two different kind of things that you can do with just the regular type tool. You can click and drag a box, which will add just filler text in the beginning until you type something out. Text. And I'm going to use the selection tool. And what you can do with this, you can make the text box whatever size you want. And let's see, I'm going to use the type tool again. And I'm not really going to write anything important. And let me go to a different line. And what this can do also is, that's the selection tool, is you can change how the words are oriented. And here, I'm going to actually type out something so I can show you kind of how words, let's see, you can type a paragraph. make it cool, I guess. All right, direct selection tool. No, that's just the selection tool. Okay, so you can see it will move some of the words depending on how big the box is, and it'll even hide some of the words as well if it is not big enough. Okay, so, oh, another thing about this is if you, let me get a little closer. If you can see that little dash, you can actually, that is called a hyphen. So you can get rid of hyphens to where it is only whole words at the end of lines. If you go into the properties panel, you can go down to paragraphs, the three little dots on the right, and right at the bottom, it has it checked hyphenate. If you unselect that, it will take care of that so you don't have that little dash at the end of a text line. What you can also do is you can take the type tool, you can highlight it, and then over here in the properties panel, you can make, see, this is the font size. So you can make just that line of text a different size than the rest of it. You can also make it, this is where you change what font it is. So I can make that bold. Let's see. For this tool, you have to, you can either select all of it. Oh, let me use the type tool. Oh, also, important note, if you see there is a little box around the mouse, that means it is going to make a new text box. But if not, if it just has the little eye, then you can select the box that you already have. So this tool, it's called leading. And what it does is it makes, you can change how far away each line is from each other, either closer or farther away. This tool will make every line, each letter farther apart from each other. So you can make it farther apart. It's really slow, but if you have a font that is very squished, then you can move it. And let's see, these are, each little like 3 dots is like advanced options or more options. So if you need to, come on, there we go. You can make the letters taller. You can, and the symbols are pretty self-explanatory, but you can also, if you just hover over the little icon, then it'll tell you generally what it does. You can move just a letter. You can move, let's see, let me select just a letter and go with the little 3 dots. Come on. Okay, it's just going a little slow. You can move 1 letter up or down if you want to get funky. You won't usually use these, but, and you can rotate it, which I didn't know it could do that. So that's fun. Let's see. Okay. And cool. You can also make, I'm going to use the type tool. You can select just some text, and the fill color will make the font a different color. Selection tool, so you can make it a different color. And yeah, you can add a stroke to it as well. You just hit the stroke tool, and if you click it, you can change the different color, or you can go over to the toolbar section. And all the way down, you can see the box that is kind of cut out. That will be the stroke. So you can double click it and then pick whatever color you desire as the stroke. Hit OK. And sometimes it's a little thick. So this is right here in the properties panel next to the stroke is how thick the stroke is. So if it's too much, then you can make it bigger or smaller. And if it's too little, you can make it bigger. And over here on the left tool panel, on top of the, or right next to the stroke panel is the fill color. So it's the same as over here in the properties panel. But the one that is filled in is the fill, and the one that is cut out or has the little spot in the middle is the stroke. And you can also, this little box down here that's white with a X is just none. It just doesn't have whatever you ask for. Okay. Oh, the second thing that the type tool on the left in the tools panel, fourth down on the left, is you can just click it and it will come up with just a string of text where you can just type. I can't spell. Oh, and I think it's still kind of curved. So, which is kind of fun, but there we go. Okay, so make that 0. Enter. Okay, cool. All right, so this is a second text option. I'm going to go to the selection tool. Let me move this down here. Okay, so up here near the top bar, you can have, this is the align right, center align, and align left. Those are used a lot. I'm going to go center. Also, I didn't show you this with shapes, but you can do this with shapes or with text. Is near the alignments is horizontal align center, and this is going to center it to the whole page if you just select one object. There's also align left to the left of the page or artboard, align right, and then there is, let me make this smaller. I'm going to align to the top, to the center, and to the bottom. If you want to center in a text or a object, you can align center and align vertical, horizontal and vertical center. So it'll be exactly the center of the page. Also, like with shapes, you can use the selection tool, go to a corner, hold shift and drag, and it will be exactly the same dimensions when you blow it up. If you do not hit it, you can shape it however you want. But usually you want to hit shift and then drag. But you can also switch the font with big font or small font. And with this, with just clicking the text tool, you don't lose any words when you blow it up or make it smaller.